directly in black businesses. But look at Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey invested in Weight Watchers stock, and that stock is excelling tremendously. And honestly, I think if I see a billionaire acquire wealth, and my core focus is to acquire wealth, success leaves clues. Why not just follow the blueprint? You got people like Robert Smith, who's in the financial industry, who is a billionaire, who invests as well. So it's not that we should not invest in our community, but sometimes we have people who don't have thousands of dollars to put into a real estate project, but they do have $100 and maybe $12, $13, $14 to invest in Disney because their child watches Disney, they're always watching sports, and they're always watching ABC. So as opposed to people constantly making money off of our consumption, why not just get in the game with them so that we can grow our money, have more liquid assets available to then pool more of our monies together to then invest in other black projects.
The growth happens less on an individual basis, and this is something you mentioned before the break too, but the growth happens much less on an individual basis. If Susie over there, as you said, let's say Oprah over there, investing, that's great, but to have more people who maybe aren't on Oprah's level, but let's say Oprah
do smaller things.
Sorry, you said Disney.
Right.
Let's say Oprah invests in Disney, but I also invest in Disney, and you and Eric, we all invest in Disney. Well, now we're all a part of the growth that Disney experiences.
Right.
So collectively, the black community is stronger because we all are, right? Right. The black community is stronger not because we pooled our funds together and invested in a bodega across the way.
Right.
But because we all are now a part of the train, the economic train that is.
So here's the other thing too, and this is something that I learned on Wall Street. If you have 100% of your assets, meaning 100% of what you are worth, not the money you spend your bills with, 10% should be in cash, meaning cash equivalent. So it could be under your mattress, in a checking account, or a savings account. 10% of your assets should be in an alternative investment. An alternative investment is an investment that is 5 to 7 to 10 years plus where you'll get a return. So for example, let's take Amplify. If you said, Ashley, I want to invest in Amplify, let's say you give me $50,000. You're not going to see a quick return tomorrow. It's going to take Amplify 5, 10, 20 years to turn you into a billionaire, i.e. Facebook. So that's considered an alternative investment. Things like real estate, things like private investments, things like investing in a bodega. You won't see a quick return that fast. But then you have marketable securities, which are like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance investments, annuities. 80% of a wealthy person, a billionaire, millionaire, 80% of their assets should be invested in a marketable security. And if your money is imbalanced, you have more money in cash, we take that money and we invest it into more marketable securities. So I'm not saying that we should not invest in actual businesses in our community. However, that should not be 100% of our net worth, because that is not how billionaires operate. 100% of your money can go amongst different investments, but I will not take 100% of my assets and go invest in a bodega. And granted, yes, that's a great investment. I'm not going to take 100% of my money and invest it in real estate, because those are illiquid assets. So when things go wrong, you cannot pull your money out of those businesses. But it takes 2 seconds for me to sell my money out of the stock market and get cash. So I'm not saying that we should not invest in black businesses. By no means am I not saying that. But I am saying, if you're talking to the mother who is on welfare, you're talking to the person that makes $50,000 a year who feels like they do not have enough money to invest and they're always spending their money, or they're always going shopping, and they feel like they cannot do something, they need to invest somehow, some way. And I think people investing in stocks and things of that nature don't feel like they're qualified to do it.
Well, I think that is that's not a superficial concept right there. That's not one of those things. Sometimes people say, well, I get this question, should I invest in the stock market? Should I?
But it doesn't even have
question. You have to understand what your own personal.
Yeah, it's not. We need to invest. It could be a mutual fund, an ETF, an index fund, an insurance policy, an annuity. But when I say the word stock market, that just means you are investing some sort of money into a company, a publicly traded company. So like